Hi guys, how are you doing today? Ready for new stories? I have two today. Let's go to the first one, about OP's family and fiance, who demand OP invites his brother who stole his family from him to his wedding. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, male 35, have been no contact with my younger brother for years because of major issues we had in the past. I couldn't go to college after my dad passed away, and I ended up working several jobs to support my brother while supporting my now ex-wife and kid. My brother lived with us for a while because he couldn't afford rent and was in college at the time. Then, my ex-wife and I began arguing a lot, and it became increasingly difficult to work things out between us. I discovered eventually that my brother had a bad influence on my life and marriage when he got together with my ex. And in that instant, I was done with both of them. I divorced my ex-wife, and my brother married her in less than a year. I tried to get full custody, but ended up sharing custody of my son with my brother and my ex-wife. My ex-wife claimed she was having issues with me in the past and used that in court. I was so devastated and so mad, thinking how after everything I've done, my own brother takes my family from me and turned my life upside down. I trusted him. I was out there working hard to support him, but he took advantage of me and took my family, literally took my family away from me. I hate that he gets to spend time with my son, and I just wish I could get him out of that toxic environment. He's 7 years old, and he's very smart. My brother seems to be trying to take my place as a father as well, because he continuously tells my son to call him dad, and there has been plenty of fights over this matter. I expect nothing less for him as he keeps causing me hurt and pain till this day. But I'm glad I'll soon be getting married to my fiance, who's very empathetic and supportive of me. I've decided to celebrate with my family. But the thing is, my aunt, who I have a very good relationship, wanted me to invite my brother to my own wedding. I laughed at first, but then the argument started when she and other family members insist I invite him, saying that my ex doesn't have to come if I'm uncomfortable with it. I told them no, but they told me my brother wanted to come and work things out between us and thought this was the perfect opportunity. I got mad and I couldn't help it. I refused, even though my fiance thought that I still have feelings for my ex because I refused to forgive my brother. They all think that with time, I should be able to mend my relationship with him, and that what happened was my ex's fault. But I believe he's a huge part of the problem. I said no, and they're all criticizing my decision and saying I'm holding a grudge and asking me how that looks like for my fiance. I was thinking, wow, OP's aunt and his other relatives are crap for putting this on OP. And then I got to the part where OP's fiance put her 2 cents in with this jealousy reasoning. Oh my God, why are these women in OP's life tripping over themselves trying to accommodate OP's brother? I don't know where OP's fiance got the idea that not inviting him means OP still has feelings for his ex. In my opinion, OP really needs to have a long conversation with her before he marries her. Not an a-hole for not inviting his brother. He shouldn't get rewarded for his bad behavior just because family. My dad is wealthy. Not like mega-rich billionaire wealthy, but pretty damn wealthy. My dad owns his Ferrari V12 supercar that he loves. He takes it out to drive a few times a month when he can, and usually likes to take it to a local track. He's very protective of that car and doesn't want anyone driving it. He let me drive it once at his track, and I had like a race car driver instructor with me, but honestly, I am sort of afraid of it. It's really powerful and just more car than I can handle. Anyways, I'm dating this dude, and he saw my dad's car when he was over, and he asked me if he could drive it. I told him that he would have to ask my dad, cause it's not mine, but that I don't think he would let him because my dad really doesn't want anyone driving it. Anyways, he left it alone. He brought it up to my dad later, but my dad said no. My dad said he let me drive it once at a track with a race driver in the passenger seat, and that he just didn't trust anyone else to drive it. So my dad went out of town, and now my boyfriend is asking me to let him drive the car while my dad is gone. He keeps asking me where the keys are, and can he just take it for a spin? And I keep telling him no, and it's making me uncomfortable he keeps asking. Finally, he got mad at me and called me a B, and said I should be supportive of him, that I should understand he doesn't have a rich family and will probably never have this opportunity again, and that if I loved him, I would do this for him. I don't know. I get that he doesn't really have another opportunity to drive this car, but like it's just a car, and my dad would be really pissed if I let him. Am I the a-hole? I believe I might be the a-hole because my boyfriend can't afford a car like this on his own, and I feel bad that I'm denying him the opportunity to drive one, which is something he really wants. I am denying him his dream. Not an a-hole. Most insurance companies will not pay out if the car was driven by an unauthorized driver. So if he can't afford to buy, he can't afford to break it. If he does crash it, OP's father might have to file a police report, so OP's boyfriend could get grand theft auto and spend some time in jail, and then the insurance company will come after him for damages. OP should not let this boy manipulate her. She knows what's right, so she should dump him. Edit. A lot of people are calling this abuse and a red flag, and honestly, I never really thought it was that bad. I just thought teenage boys want to drive fast cars. Like, it really didn't register to me that it was abusive or manipulative. Edit 2. So that people know I did take the keys and put them in my dad's safe about 30-ish minutes after this post went up. A lot of people have mentioned he doesn't see a long-term relationship with me because he said this is the only chance I'll get. I honestly didn't register that, but yeah, it's got me thinking. Edit 3. I guess I have to watch the Ferris Bueller movie now. I'll probably invite some of my girls over for an 80s movie night. Edit 4. I get the message loud and clear, and I will come up with an exit strategy. Edit 5. Good news and bad news. Good news, heard your message loud and clear, and today he really showed me who he is. Bad news, I have more crap to deal with from him. We are over after this. I can't even. Some background on our relationship. First off, I paid for everything all the time. Anytime we went on a date, I footed the bill. I didn't think much of it because I have so much and he doesn't, so I thought it was pretty natural, and just being a good girlfriend to foot the bill. I drove him around everywhere. If he wanted something, he would often guilt me into getting it for him. Sometimes this was things like $200 Jordans or $50 for W for the weekend. I got him a new Samsung Galaxy phone for Christmas. He never got me anything, not once. Not even a handmade gift or a small thoughtful gift. Not even a flower he picked. It didn't need to be elaborate or expensive, but he didn't even get me something to show me he was thinking about me. I don't want to try and measure a relationship based off material things though, so I let that go. He would often tease me and make fun of me for being a spoiled rich daddy's girl and for going to an expensive exclusive private school. He made fun of me because my dad bought me a Mercedes, but he never had a problem with me driving him around in it. He would make fun of me for taking school seriously, for maintaining a 4.0, for turning down parties or other things because I had papers to write or tests to study for. He would often tell me I didn't know what the real world was like because I grew up in a wealthy neighborhood, around wealthy people, and didn't know what the world was really like. I honestly kind of felt he was right about that. I did grow up a lot more sheltered than average people, and with a lot more. Most people don't get Mercedes for their 16th birthdays, or ski trips to the Alps, or summer trips to St. Bart's. I know that's not normal. I honestly don't really know what normal is. So I took his word that I had a sheltered life, and he knew better about the real world. He introduced me to his friends as his hot rich girlfriend, which I assumed was supposed to be a compliment. He never said these things in a way that seemed overly insulting. He always said it as a joke with a smile. So I trusted that he cared about me, and that this was all just differences in our upbringings. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was probably naive. Funny thing about the whole real world thing though, he never dealt with the tragedy that we did. He didn't lose a family member to cancer. He didn't have to watch his older brother waste away from cancer and die at 13. He never had to watch his parents cry when they thought I wasn't watching. I did. Money didn't save my brother. I was 10 when it happened, so I've always known that no matter how rich you are, life doesn't care. Bad things can happen to anyone, and money can't always save you. Then I posted the thread and got a lot of replies about how he was abusive and manipulating and using me. I started really thinking about it, and in light of what literally everyone was saying, these things started to seem a lot less innocent and playful than I had been taking them to be. The night I posted this, I got a text from X about throwing a party at my house while my dad was gone. I said no. I've been to high school ragers, and I know what happens, and I don't want my house trashed. So I tell him this, and he gives me a line he often used with me about needing to have more fun. I told him I didn't think cleaning up my dad's wrecked house sounded like a lot of fun. He left it alone, or so I thought. The next day I was in school, and one of my best friends came up to me and she was sort of mad and wanted to know why I didn't tell her about the party first. I was surprised. I told her there was no party, and I wanted to know where she heard that from, but I knew where it ultimately came from. She told me she had heard from her friend that went to my ex's school, and that everyone there was talking about it, and it had spread to this school. I knew it was him, so I called him. He admitted that he had told everyone I was having a rager, and that he started telling everyone this when he was at school the previous day, before he had even asked me about it. I was livid. I told him he had no right to just invite his entire school to my house without even asking me first. We got into a big fight about it. Then he told me what he really thought of me. NGL. I was sort of devastated to hear this. He called me boring and basic, spoiled and entitled. And now he wasn't joking. He said I had a stick up my butt and needed to learn how to lighten up and have fun. He said I was a daddy's girl and I cared more about grades and impressing my father than anything. He accused me of being Olivia Jade and having my dad buy my way into college. That one really stung because I worked really hard through high school to get accepted into a good university. And it was also just like, what the duck? Because here he is making fun of me for working too hard in school, and at the same time saying I didn't earn my spot. So which one is it? Anyways, we fought and he said a bunch of nasty things to me. Finally, I told him if I was so boring, he could find a new and exciting girlfriend to drive him around and pay for everything, because I was done. I wish it ended there. But I still had this party rumor that was now flying around at least 2 schools. I didn't want to call my dad about this. I wanted to take care of this on my own. Take care of him on my own. I didn't want to admit to my dad that I made a really poor choice in dating him. I didn't want to have my dad bail me out the week he leaves. I wanted to show I was mature and grown up enough to fix this on my own. But I just didn't know how to stop all these people from showing up. So I swallowed my pride and called my dad after school and told him everything. I tried not to cry, but I did. My dad was mad, but he wasn't mad at me. He did thank me for telling him and reassured me I had done the right thing. My dad made a call to a friend of his at the sheriff's office. This part I feel some kind of way about, because I know how people feel about the police right now, and I know that this is something that really shows off my privilege. I doubt this would have happened for many other people, but the sheriffs told him they'd post a deputy on our block over the weekend. My dad also sent a pair of bodyguards for me for the weekend to make sure no one tried to break in. He said I was allowed to have a few friends over for the weekend, but keep it clean, no raging parties of course, and no mess, etc. You know, standard parent stuff. That week, a few of my close friends stayed with me after school while I cried about all this, and they helped me spread the word that there was no party. Friday night came along, and a few of my friends came back home with me after school. We decided we'd do an 80s movie night, like I mentioned, and we did put Ferris Bueller on the list. We closed the gate, put up a sign that there was no party. Private security showed up like my dad said, and we bunkered down for the night and watched a bunch of 80s movies. There were a few people that did show up, but they were chased off by the locked gate and deputy hanging out on the block. I think we were able to dissuade most of them from showing up. I don't know how many because I just stayed inside with my girls watching movies and tried to ignore anything happening outside. I felt and continue to feel really crappy about it all. First off, I feel like I wasted a lot of people's time. I know the police have more important things to do than babysit me and my house from teenagers. I know those bodyguards had more important people to protect than a teenage girl from a party. I know that most people could never be able to manage this. It all drove home just how privileged I am, and honestly, how my ex was right, that I do live in a different and sheltered world from everyone else. And then there's the death of my social life. I'm single now, with no date to prom, and I caught a lot of crap from a lot of our mutual social circle over this. I've been called spoiled and basic, snitch, Karen, and Becky. Even some of the kids in my school were disappointed. I know lots of kids in my school that will or have thrown ragers in their parents' houses, so even among some of my friends, it was sort of expected I would. So besides my oldest friends, I'm pretty much a pariah now. But whatever. In the end, I have 2 months left till graduation, and then I'm out. Next fall, I start college out of state, and all this will be behind me. After all this stuff happened, I told my dad how the weekend went. I sort of teased him and said, "Wow, Dad, you will go to really great lengths to protect your stuff." And he said he wasn't protecting his stuff. He was protecting me.